Oh, hi. You know, you can fucking practice happiness, right? Our default is to kind of pine for happiness from within sadness, and we endure and wait, and happiness will inevitably come, at least temporarily. Our brand of happiness, though, is a dim light, and a light hitting an object always creates a fucking shadow, and from within happiness, that fucking shadow looms, and inevitably we are pulled back to sadness. If we're stuck in the sort of two-dimensional plane of thought, then we are entirely subject to the finicky fucking fluctuations of thought, and it's fucking exhausting. Are you not fucking exhausted? Suffering is an aversion to an undesirable state of mind triggered by sensory stimuli or thought. Happiness is an attractive state of mind based on a desirable state of mind caused by sensory stimuli and thought. Thoughts are horses pulling the cart of mind in which rides the core of your being, an inherent wakeful emptiness that feels like I am, not I am such and such, just pure awareness, an I-ness, a still beingness, a pristine, self-evident presence that illuminates all things. Let's just fucking call it existence. If you think you know what I'm talking about, then knock it the fuck off. It's not something you can think or know. It's not containable within the scaffolding of thought. You can't contain an entire ocean in a fucking toilet bowl. It's awareness without the of. It is always watching, but cannot be seen because it's looking through you and becoming tangled in thought, gaining a sort of amnesia on its way out as it bounces itself like a radar pulse into the quantum foam, thus collapsing it into particles which then bounce photons of light back into the brain to prove that the persistent illusion of reality is actually real and that it is separate from itself so it can present as you thinking you are yourself. The worse our aversion to something, like unhappiness for example, the more we suffer, because suffering is just an aversion to what is. The tighter we cling to something, happiness in this case, the greater the fear of loss, the greater the subsequent aversion and suffering when it's gone. And whatever it is, happy or sad, cannot stay. It is the basis of all reality, change. But one thing doesn't change. It's the supporting existence that allows all of reality to move within it, like a breeze moving across the sky or a wave across the sea, like the infinite empty void that allows planets and stars clumped as galaxies to race through it at 1.3 million fucking miles an hour and never run into any other shit. It is the effulgent beingness that shines through thought and creates consciousness. And I promise you are perpetually aware of it, even if you don't think you are. You are existence whether you want it or believe it or not. It's pretty much universal that we want to be happy, but we suck at it because we base our mental brand of happiness on supposed outer circumstances, which are actually just a sensory stimulation resulting in an activation of a neural pathway in our wrinkly pink meat computer that we've low-key labeled as an attraction. That's not the kind of happiness I'm fucking talking about, or that's ultimately worth seeking. Some brain chemicals feel good when they squirt, but they eventually stop squirting. So I'm talking about the kind of happiness that is exposed due to the removal of attachment to mind labels. We think, oh, such and such a thing will make me happy, and so we throw that thing into that big fucking gaping hole in our middle, and it gets sucked in, and we realize that that thing wasn't big enough to fill our hole. So we try to find something bigger to throw in. We think, well, if this certain circumstance happens, I'll be happy, but our mind has become wired through repetition too deeply to actually appreciate it if it comes. If you can't appreciate your own fucking existence in this moment now, no matter what your circumstances, you will not be able to maintain supposed happiness for long in a sought-after circumstance. Like I said, it's fucking practice. You have to overwrite your if-only code with satisfaction and gratitude for nothing but your own existence and learn to uncover actual happiness in this moment. And yes, I know some situations can be nearly fucking unbearable, and I'm not saying don't take action to mitigate circumstances or conditions that trigger suffering. By all means, do whatever the fuck you can, but you can still practice in the meantime. And I'm telling you that the greater the suffering, the greater the effects of practice during that time. Do what you can to enhance your life, but don't fucking waste your suffering either. Our hole of desire has no bottom. Why not practice true happiness for a change? It's not reliant upon anything. It's not something that comes and goes. If something comes, that means it wasn't there before, and so will eventually go away because it is born of reality and will eventually go fucking bye-bye. True happiness is a simplification of perception. It's an inward gaze. It's allowing that nasty fucking knot of attractions and aversions to untangle and disperse for a minute, for an hour, for a day, however fucking long you can. That's the practice. It's not complicated. It's the most simple thing to do because you're always fucking doing it. First things first, close your damn mouth and pay attention to your breath. Follow it from your nose to your taint like an air piston that's powering the engine of your meat tractor. oxygen, which is comprised of molecules, which is made of atoms, which are made of mostly emptiness and energy. Observe it like a column of clear fucking light as you bring it down your middle and let it collect in a fist-sized ball above your taint. Then send that energy back out. It's not woo-woo, it's literally fucking energy, and so are you. Conscious breathing is like changing your own fucking oil. Breathe and exist. You don't have to try to exist, just stop trying to do everything else. Breathe and exist and become aware that you are awareness. Feel that aliveness of existence in every cell of your body. Drain your attention into your body and just let the thoughts happen. They never fucking stop, but instead of being them, be aware of them. And when you're aware of one, let it disappear mid-thought no matter how much you want to think it. Then be the awareness that's aware of thought. This awareness behind thought is stillness. It's peace. It's the wakeful emptiness watching the movie of form through the aperture of your mind. You are a cosmic fucking portal, a reference point for the totality to shine through. Breathe and exist and feel the radiation of your own existence shine unimpeded by thought or identification. You know what that fucking light feels like when it's allowed to just shine? It feels like you, actual you. And like the pleasure of the sun on your face after a long cold winter, feel true happiness illuminate your mind after the long winter of delusion. This takes practice, though. All you have to do is remember the practice. You can do it meditating or just doing everyday shit, whatever. Breathe and exist and begin breaking the binding attraction of thought, a natural and incredibly powerful force of ego designed to trap existence itself into an amnesiac tangle of thought forms. It takes perseverance and practice to actually be happy, and actual happiness is different than you thinking you're happy. True happiness is an absence more than a presence. It's the sun between parting clouds. True happiness can be resided in even when there is suffering and mental turmoil in the thought plane, because it's always fucking there behind the mess of the mind. You may not see the sun on a cloudy day, but you know it's there because it makes it through the thickest cloud and illuminates the fucking world. But maybe let's not even call it happiness, because there are too many self-made definitions associated with it. Let's just call it unimpeded, pristine existence satisfied with itself for its own sake, perpetual and unreliant upon fucking stimuli or neural reactions or brain chemicals. There's something fucking extraordinary going on that has always gone on, that is invisible because it hides as mundanity. It's all over the fucking place and it hides behind your face. Existence is the true fucking you. Toodaloo.